Hey everybody, and welcome to Movie Guys Podcast presents our review of Don't Breathe. My name is Jordan. I'm along here with Eric and Ed. How you guys doing today?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
You guys like my radio voice? I have a better radio voice than that. I'm
you
just
know what?
saying.
I like it. If you have actually could slip into a broadcaster voice, I'd like to hear it.
Okay, so welcome everybody to 92.5 Movie Guys Podcast. Make sure everybody downloads this episode because it is badass. I'm here with Eric and Ed. How are you guys doing tonight?
This is pretty good.
WNBC.
Nice. Nice. Private Parts reference. That's good. That's good.
Pig vomit.
Nice. That's good. How you guys doing though? We're reviewing this movie. This is kind of a sleeper movie. I never would have seen this movie if it wasn't for the show. Would you guys have seen this movie?
No.
You know what? Yeah, because I forgot what movie I was in, and I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, okay, this actually seems pretty cool. I want to go see it, and I like a scary movie.
Sure.
So why not? And we're getting into kind of the season for scary movies.
Yeah, I know we got Blair Witch coming up soon, which I'm excited for.
So I'm excited. Little thrillers. I enjoy them. They are far and few between. Some of them are god awful. Some of them. It's rare that you get one that's actually good. Is what I'm trying to say.
True, yeah, because personal opinion, I don't know if you guys agree, but the last movie that I saw that was a great thriller horror movie in theaters was Crimson Peak, I think, the one with the one with Benicio del Toro. Is that right? That's what I'm thinking about.
No, I think you're talking about the guy who did Pan's Labyrinth
Pacific.
and stuff right there.
Yeah, yeah. What was that one was a Crimson Peak, was it? It was something else.
Guillermo, something like that. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Was that movie? It was like some haunted house movie that he did like a year or two ago, and it was really good.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's where it's the big house, right?
Yeah. I don't know if it was called Crimson Peak. I could be wrong.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro, I think is what it's called. Crimson Peak, yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I thought the movie was interesting. I'm not saying I don't like it or hate it. I actually think it was pretty cool. Eric, I think you really like it, but it seems like Ed really hates this movie.
Well, no, it's not that I hate it. Okay, this movie's not bad by any means. Is it bad? And I would go so far as to say that it's well done. It's just so was the other 1,000 movies that were exactly the same.
Oh, really?
This is like if you looked at all the 80s B horror movies of a bunch of good guys die, but they're not really good guys, and the bad guy dies, and then you think he's dead, and then he kills the good guy again because he comes back, and then actually the good guy was never really dead, and then that bad guy was never really dead, and oh wait a minute, there's somebody chained up in the fucking basement. It's the same movie over and over and over again. It wasn't bad by any means. It followed the formula. It followed the formula well. It's just generic.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You know what?
generic.
I can't disagree with you on that. I really can't because you're right. It seems like a lot of it, and again, its own plot and premise is its own, where it's this Don't Breathe, where it's a blind guy, and so you have to be kind of quiet and play to the rules of that. And it was interesting because there are certain things that they presented a challenge for a lot of the people that were unique, and I liked that. But at the same time, you're right. It's kids on cat and mouse
Mm.
between the guy who was you thought it was he was just being the one being robbed, but turns out he's actually a little more disturbed than as the plot goes on.
Yeah.
But no, I completely understand that, and you're very right. I think it's just one of those where it's just unique enough where you again have this blind formula in it to where you have to be in situations quiet sometimes where you are actually sneaking around that because it builds the suspense to it. I don't know if you guys were ever like that, like when you're kids or something, whether you're sneaking out of the house or just being a little kid with you're playing hide and seek with your parents or something like that or your friends. But being quiet is a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also, like in this movie, every time they needed to be quiet, they'd all be quiet, and then all of a sudden something would creak or something would happen every single time. There wasn't a single instance I can remember where they needed to be quiet that they actually were.
You know what? This was taken in. So this was taken in Detroit, and they did a pretty good shot of what Detroit is, or at least the most parts. And yeah, I mean, I've been in a lot of Detroit houses, and for that being a Detroit house and how old it is, it did not creak like a Detroit. Like every other floorboard creaks in a Detroit house.
Sure.
Like
Which is sad.
yeah. Well, I mean, they're old houses. I mean,
Yeah.
you
What do
try
you
having
mean?
a house that stands for 100 years and tell me it doesn't creak. Like it's
Good
Yeah,
point.
but you don't rob those houses.
well.
Well, I stand
Tell,
corrected. It is Detroit.
I'm gonna say tell the people in Detroit
Nice.
that, yeah. So I
Well,
mean it was a good because there's are streets like that do exist where nobody's on it, where the entire street is completely deserted and vacant with maybe like one or two different people living on the street. That's very real. And you know what? It's when you watch a movie like this, you kind of find yourself picking apart just like the unrealistic parts. Just like, oh well, that shouldn't happen. Oh, I would have done this. Oh, that seems to be the obvious choice type thing. I'll give you an example real quick. When they're in the basement and they just stole money and they saw the girl chained up there, you would
yeah.
think, well, okay, well, we'll just deal with that shit later. We need to get the fuck out first. Like, I understand saving the girl, but I don't know. If you're a thief, like, take the money and run. You got the money. There's no time to think about it. You have your out. Run. Get out. You
Yeah,
know.
and half the people are dead that you came in with.
Yeah,
But that's
a
where Ed
third at
is right,
least.
though. I mean, Ed is right in that part where this movie's generic because we as an audience are supposed to care about these people. I mean, yeah, these are bad people. Just like what I mean as an example is Pulp Fiction. You're not supposed to like those people in Pulp Fiction, but you do because of their characters. So you have to like them. They have to save the person that's chained up in the basement, and then you're not going to have an audience. They're not going to follow your quote unquote heroes.
Well, because
You know
they're thieves, but they're not malicious.
exactly.
They follow a set of rules, and it was said in the first 5 minutes of the movie where when they're robbing houses, don't steal anything over 10 grand, don't steal any money, items only, and to kind of follow the line. So if they were to get caught, you'd get minimal sentencing, and kind of damage control almost.
Which I find itself is ridiculous because you're a thief. You're a thief. I mean, like if you see $20 on the table, you're going to take the $20. I don't know why you would say,
Well,
items only.
you try to,
But
they want to humanize them some, you know,
exactly.
to some extent. So that's why they with the girl Rocky, they kind of give her the family story where she's like, "Oh, I'm doing this just so I can leave my shit house with my daughter."
Of course. And that
So
has to make us care about her, of course. The
exactly.
one thing that I really wanted to say right off the bat was I think what this movie is a missed opportunity is to make this movie really good and interesting was they teased it a little bit and there was a lot of it in it but not enough for me. But to make this a very interesting art picture is half the movie should have been silent because that would have made it even more scary.
All just sound effects, right? All effect.
All sound effects. I mean, yeah. I mean, what I mean by silent is not,
No. I get it. The
yeah,
dialogue is
yeah,
absent. That would, yeah.
dialogues that because that would have been creepy. That would have been scary, and that would have put us as the audience member in the real world situation of what these people are going through, and they missed that opportunity. And I felt because when I watched the trailers with Don't Breathe, I was like, oh man, are you telling me like half the movie is going to be talk and standard movie, and the other half is going to be this like, they have like this like literally don't breathe flick because if you do, you're going to get slaughtered. This sounds great, and it didn't turn out to be that way.
That's a
They
good way
they
of
did
putting
it for
it.
a few scenes, but not much. That was disappointing.
They did for the tension building scenes, and yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. They missed opportunity there. I feel that they the blind man, which is his name, I feel that it went a little bit too far when you find out his level of psycho, where he's
right.
got a girl locked in
Yeah,
the basement and stuff like that. It's just like like I think it would have actually been better if you just kind of put that, just didn't even include that. But
yeah,
I can understand that too because first off, you had an extra death, to the movie. You add some cause of his motivation for everything. I can understand a lot of it, but still, I don't think, really think it was needed. I think you could have taken that out and had maybe another 15, 20 minutes of other stuff into it.
But
Agreed.
why couldn't they? I guess question for both of you guys. Why couldn't they have just made the movie where the blind guy is literally a victim? Why couldn't he have just been a guy who was getting robbed and he has to kill the kids or whatever situation it may be? But why does he have to do that? Why does he go that batshit Norman Bates insane and have a girl chained? It just
Well,
makes no
I think
sense.
I think they did it for two reasons. Number one, it actually gave you the bad guy. He was the bad guy, and it's sort of a twist. It's not. I mean, it's not really a twist to anybody who's ever seen a movie before, but to those who don't really go to the theater that often for analytical purposes, or who can remember other movies, like it's a twist that a lot of people most likely didn't see coming. So in number two, it makes it a little bit more. It gives him a reason to actually be a killer. Because most people you think if you break into their house, they're not going to murder you, especially if there's five of you, or however many there was. If there's multiples of you, you're not going to be able to be, strategically slaughtered. However, I think to Eric's point, like it wasn't needed. It was dumb. It was generic, but like I can see why they did it.
Yeah, I can see why they did it, but it wasn't needed. Because I mean, like, I think this movie would have been perfect if he was a guy who was trying to protect his house, like they kidnapped his daughter, panic room movie, but silent. That's what I'm thinking.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that. That's what it should have been.
Well, because if you take that element out of the equation where the girl's not trapped in the basement anymore, and by the way, everyone, the reason the girl's trapped in the basement is because of some far-fetched story of how he got the money, where his daughter was killed by this rich girl, and the rich girl was found innocent or let go or something like that, and the blind guy whose daughter was killed was given a settlement. That's where the thieves come in, and they hear about the settlement, and where it's all straight cash. They go into the house to try to steal the settlement money. That's
Sure.
all you need to know. And I'm not ruining anything because that was established in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and which is fine. I like that too because it's like just boom, boom, boom. Here are the facts, 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 facts. Let's get into it. Type.
Yeah, but if you
Absolutely.
also remember, it's a complete contradiction of how they're trying to humanize these people. And it's like nothing over 10 grand, only steal stuff, never cash. Oh, wait a minute, there's $1 million in cash in this guy's
Yeah,
basement.
let's
Let's go
do
steal
it
it.
one last time, one last job, and so we can never do it again. Type thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and you're very right because it's just whatever gets them in the door. But
Hmm.
I still feel that, and just like you said, Jordan, it's a good enough movie to where you get inside the house because it's locked down, and so when they're in it type thing. They're like,
Yeah.
and that's a good part of the movie is like because now it starts. They're trapped in the house type thing, and it's wonderful. I like how that builds that kind of realization where you're going, oh shit, and they're tucked away in corners and they're trying to get that. But where I was getting back to before is that when you have that element of the girl locked in the basement, I understand you're making a bigger antagonist, or a big bad guy out of this one too, something that could be in a franchise because of how it ended too, but it just would not have been needed if most of the movie was these kind of these quiet parts where it was them trying to hide, them trying to escape, them trying to do something, but at the same time not alert anything.
Yes.
This just sort of popped in my head. This movie reminded me of two things. Number one, you guys remember that Geico commercial where if you're in a horror movie, you make all the wrong decisions, but if you want to
Yeah.
save, money on insurance, whatever. Like it was that movie combined with the video game Clock Tower, because there's a lot of things that like you gotta be real silent, and then you make an accidental noise, and then all of a sudden there's the bad guy getting ready to kill you. You gotta run.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if either of you ever played the game Clock Tower. It was, I remember
That was a
playing it
fun
on.
game. Was that like
Oh yeah.
like the Goblin where you have to gotta go around and
I don't remember what the guy's name, but he had like a giant pair of scissors or something, and like you always had to hide
it's a
because
stealth
he
game. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like the 64-bit consoles, like, or it might have even been Sega. It might have been, I don't remember exactly. I have to look that up. It might have been Sega, like the 16-bit Sega Genesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's an older one. Like it was just, I can't say this enough, and I feel bad because I feel like I'm being generic by not having anything more to say about it. But like this movie's generic. It's good.
Well, no,
It wasn't awful.
I think we've laid out parts of the movie. This is what I like doing about this podcast is that not only do we express the parts that we didn't like, but what we feel maybe would have done better in its place. And there's really not much to it because again, as you're watching this movie and you're thinking to yourself, well, what could have been done differently? Only a few actually came to mind in the actual chase that happened inside the house. A
Sure.
few that
Yeah.
came to mind. One was at the end or towards the end when both Rocky and the boy, the kid or whatever the hell like that, were actually trying to leave. And this is again towards the end. So like Rocky was already tied up in the basement, and he woke up from the washer from the laundry room type thing and realized that the other dude was stabbed instead of him, right?
Yeah.
And he has the keys, and he went to the door first, and then you thought he was going to unlock the door, but instead he grabbed the hammer or whatever, went downstairs, beat the blind guy, rescued Rocky. They go upstairs again, and now he's struggling to open up the door again. And I don't know. I feel like if you went to the trouble to go to the
True.
door first, maybe you should, because you established that there's four locks on the damn thing, each of them with probably separate keys. Unlock the doors first, maybe if you're already there, and then do it. But again, that's stretching just because I'm the viewer. It's easy for me to say that when you're probably in a situation you're thinking, okay, well let me eliminate the bad guy first, and then we'll go. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, hell yeah. Good point,
in
man.
that
Yeah.
case, then
Great
why even
point.
bother? Why even But whatever. That was another part. And then they kept the guy alive too. Like they could have easily just killed the guy and then booked it, but
Right? Why didn't they just kill him and say screw it?
yeah. And if they're worried
Well,
about their blood being everywhere, then at the end of the movie, when the ambulance actually does come and get the guy, I mean, there's blood everywhere. There's a dead body in the laundry room. They don't seem to address that at all either.
No, they don't. They
yeah,
forget about
and they
that.
just say, oh yeah, they didn't steal anything. Nothing happened. I just defended myself.
Yeah,
Right?
there's the other part
You
too.
know.
There's the other part too. Is that the Detroit police does not get there in 5 minutes after the alarm sounds. Like
Nice.
that's they'll get there maybe in an hour. You know.
Oh, true point. True point. I would
But
agree with
again,
that.
that's well. At least only one car came. At least it wasn't like a whole squad. It was like the one car that was in the area. Just like, yeah, I guess we're right by here.
No,
So
yeah, which is funny because you know what, Ed? I came in this thinking I know Ed thinks this movie's bad or whatever because I knew that you were just like whatever, you know. But now that we're having this conversation, I'm starting to see what you're saying because yeah, I mean, like you're talking about with the blood, it's like there was just no thought to it. It was just let's make this movie because we can. There was no. I don't feel there was any love to it. I think this movie could have been a very very good art house Oscar independent film contender if they just would have done a lot of things different. Because what a great idea!
I agree with you there.
Let's take the idea of Panic Room, but let's make it silent and let's have the bad guys be the good guys, and let's try to spin this world on its head, which we've seen 1,000 times. I mean, we have seen this again and again and again. These kind of movies, and this movie does the same thing that all these movies does. It's generic,
So
which doesn't,
well,
so whatever.
let's wrap it up. What are your final thoughts then? These, by the way, a small cast too did it very well. There was four people pretty much who were the main parts of the movie. There's three thieves and then the blind guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it worked. Small cast. It doesn't need to be big. I guess if you cut the fifth of the girl in the basement, but she didn't have any speaking parts. So
No. Um. Okay. Well, I guess my final thought would be it's okay, not great, still better than Independence Day 2. So it gets a pass. That's that's my 2 cents. It gets a pass because it's better than Independence Day 2. Wait for it to come on Netflix. Don't even bother renting it. Just stream it. Like it's not great. No, I don't recommend this movie. I do not
He
recommend
gets
it.
a pass but doesn't recommend.
It's a pass, but I just don't. There's just nothing there. It's nothing to go. Oh my god, dude, did you see that scene? Can you guys tell me one scene in the movie where you're like, oh man, that's sweet.
No,
No.
no. I didn't have
You know,
any movies or parts in that. I only had parts where I actually went, "Oh shit," and that was all involved with the dog.
right?
Yeah, that's true. We left out the dog. That's like the best character in the whole movie's a dog.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that I always bring up because I know I'm rambling on about this, but um, it's the schoolyard theory. Like where you go see a movie and you go back when you're in school, whatever, and you go to your buddies in the schoolyard and go, "Oh my god, dude, you got to see the new Friday the 13th movie because of this amazing kill or something." Like there was none of that even remotely in this to make me go, "Eric and Ed, you got to see this flick because of X, Y, and Z."
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's a pass because it's generic and it's fine, but there's nothing there's just nothing to it to make me go, "Hey, Eric, Ed, you guys gotta see this movie." You know what I mean?
No, that's I understand that completely.
So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and when we were all talking about like which movies we should do, like we were all relatively excited. I'm not saying that like any of us were like we have to pick this movie over any other movie to go see.
Sure.
So I mean, we did make this decision over other movies which were bigger, but then between the three of us having the conversations like after the movie and when we wanted to do it, I hate to say that I didn't really care to even review the movie because it was just I didn't like the movie. I didn't hate it, but it's just one of those things that like I honestly don't think anybody's gonna want to download this episode after watching this movie because everybody that saw it's like I don't want to talk about this movie anymore. I don't care about it.
Yeah, well, good point. And I'm excited to see what people think about it because this movie did not do terrible in the box office. I mean, it's
So,
not great, but it's not terrible.
is that final views there, Ed?
What's that?
I mean, was that it? I guess that's a
Well, no, I mean
hard
it's
pass.
just. I agree with Jordan that this is definitely a Netflix movie. If you've got nothing else to watch, like you've gone through everything else on Netflix or Hulu or wherever it ends up in 3 months from now, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Is it's going to go to DVD and then streaming within a month. It wasn't awful. I don't want people to think that I think this movie was bad. It wasn't. I can't say that I didn't enjoy myself while in the theater. I just there's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to grasp at. Like the scene with the dog, that was cool. But it's just so generic. And I think to Jordan's point, had they made the movie half silent, to where you've got something like that's intense, that adds something, that's something that unique. But I think I hate to say it, but I feel like that's too intelligent for this movie.
Nice.
Y- You
Nice.
know, I mean, I know I've said a lot about having nothing to say about the movie, but there's really if you've seen a horror movie, you've seen this movie.
Sure.
Good
Really.
point. Good point. Good point. Eric, what's your final verdict?
So, I did enjoy this movie, but I agree with you guys. There's nothing special to it. It's not anything that I'm gonna run into, I guess, the water cooler tomorrow morning and just say, "Hey, this, and this is why you gotta see it." I enjoyed the movie for the simple fact that, well, this is a date movie. It's
Oh, good point.
That's really what this movie is that it's a date movie because it's a tension building, it's suspense building, and it's got the spooky jumps, the turns, or you didn't expect the thing to be there, but the guy's there. It didn't, it's that's all what it is. It's an arm grabber, it's a popcorn eater, it's a date movie, plain and simple. And so I enjoyed it for that aspect, just because they're fun movies type thing, and I really did enjoy it from top to bottom. Again, it's a movie that's going to be easily forgotten next week, when it comes down to it. But yeah, oh yeah, I saw that movie. If it's on TV while I'm channel surfing, I'll have it on in the background. That's fine. I would recommend the movie as a date movie. Sure, if you want to go see it in theaters and there's nothing else to see, why the hell not? But it's not like I would say you have to go see it type thing. It's just one of those where I don't know. It's a date movie. If you're looking for just kind of like a lame night, then
Nice.
then watch it type thing. But I do feel that this movie would do better in the theaters than it would at home, um, only because a movie like this deserves a bit more of the atmosphere. You know, a bigger screen, dark area. So unless you have it at home, unless you got like a home theater set up where you got a big screen at home, the sound system, turn off all the lights, and then you watch it, it's gonna help out. But I don't know. I enjoyed it. The guy who wrote it and directed it is the same guy who did the new Evil Dead.
Oh, that's right.
And the girl
Mm-hmm.
that was in this movie was also in Evil Dead. And so obviously a big difference between the two. One's all blood and guts, and this one's a bit more again like I said cat and mouse, just kind of bump in the night, just kind of, you hear the creaks in the floor. But we talked about a lot of things that could have been fixed in this movie. They could have made it a lot better. But for I guess just a quick wrap up of what it is. It's a date movie. It's it. Just a little bit of fun date movie. Ed said it perfectly that you've already seen it 100 different times with what My Bloody Valentine, um, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the newer updated ones. It's a date movie, little horror date movie.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, little horror date movie. I 100% agree. Like it's a little horror date movie, but it has some intelligence for it, though, at least.
it could add more. I mean, if you want a recommendation, I'd say yeah, it's I find it to be worth the watch, but just don't go out of your way to watch it.
Absolutely, 100% agree. Well, we hope everybody enjoys this episode. We actually had fun talking about it because we kind of want to know what everybody thought. However, though, next week's a little bit different. We're not reviewing a new movie next week. Ed, this was your idea. What are we reviewing next week?
Remakes. Fucking remakes. All the terrible, terrible, terrible ideas that have come out, and some good ones too. The idea of like remaking a movie that are classic, like RoboCop, or things of that nature.
Uh-huh. So we're reviewing not just horror, we're reviewing all remakes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you got to cover all. That's a broad spectrum there,
That is a
because
broad spectrum.
action movies too.
So
Hell,
any
even the
fan,
Mechanic is coming out, so that's a remake.
it all started, with the remake of the Ben-Hur, which is the most classic cinema of all time, in my opinion. It's not the greatest film of all time, but it's one of the most classic films. And you can't remake that movie, and they are.
All right,
And
And it's just
tanked.
save it,
Ugh.
save it, save it, save
And
it.
it tanked. Well, and then after our remakes episode, we're coming back with a new movie, which I'm excited for, and it is The Blair Witch Part 3. I'm really, really, really stoked about it. I cannot wait to see this because I did not see Blair Witch in theaters.
We'll see how it
came
goes.
up, so I'm excited for that.
I'm a hard critic on this one.
Oh, you are? You
I'm-
you are a hard critic on Blair Witch?
I'm
right?
going to be a hard critic on the new one because well, I'll save it for it. I think they're going to be trying too hard on this one.
Well, yeah, because they lied to us.
I think they're cashing a check is
So-
what I think they're doing. So,
I would agree because they lied. They
But
said
we'll-
this is a movie called something else, and it wasn't.
we'll see.
So, yeah,
I've been wrong
we'll
before,
see.
so we'll see.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, fans, for listening to this episode. Make sure to check us out on movieguyspodcast.com. Check us out on Twitter, and also if you listen to us on iTunes, go to iTunes and type in movieguyspodcast.com to listen to this episode and many others, such as Ghostbusters, Independence Day 2, because I shit on it every single time we talk, and some other ones out there. There's tons. So check them out, guys. But for Eric and Ed, thank you so much, guys, for joining me with this discussion, and we'll be back next week for our remakes debate. Have a great night, guys.
See ya.